Hi everyone, it's Alicia Morrow with RadiantPossibilities.com, and I'm going to be sharing with you today my top tips for how to make an amazing green smoothie every time. I'm going to be demonstrating for you my creamy and comforting apples and spice green smoothie, which is really a cold weather green smoothie favorite of mine. So let's begin. I'm using a Vitamix blender here, which is a high-powered blender. You don't need to use a high-powered blender in order to create an amazing and delicious green smoothie. But if you are using a high-powered blender, you know that you're able to create a smoother and creamier smoothie texture than often is possible with a standard blender. Now, a Vitamix can be a little bit of an investment, but there are ways around that if you look around. Groupon.com often offers Vitamixes that have been refurbished. They offer them at almost half price. And at the Vitamix.com website itself, you can often buy refurbished Vitamixes there too. This is an investment in my kitchen that I use almost every day, if not more than once a day. I've definitely gotten my money's worth out of this guy. The second thing that I want to tell you about creating this smoothie is that when you're putting your ingredients into your blender carafe, you want to put the moist or juicy ingredients closest to the blades in the bottom of your blender carafe. This way, when the blades begin to catch and spin, they will liquefy the ingredients at the bottom, and that will create a little bit of a tornado, a vortex inside your blender that will then pull the other ingredients down into the blades. If you were to put the leafy greens at the bottom of this, which some people do, it ends up just spinning and creating a giant air pocket because leafy greens aren't very juicy. So when you're creating your green smoothies, be certain that you're putting your produce, your juicy produce, and your liquids at the bottom first. So in this green smoothie, we've got apples, they're here at the bottom, cashew butter, which is a little bit like a gel, so that went on top of the apples in here. And then I've got my superfood powders. I've got my maca and my vegan protein powder. Both of those are really, really great for when your to-do list is being longer than it normally is, or when things in your life are actually quite demanding. I always can use a little bit of a protein punch after a workout, or if I have a really, really long day ahead of me. And maca is a Peruvian root that's been pounded into a powder. It's really, really great for supporting endurance and supporting the adrenals and the hormones in the body. So we've got, again, apples, raw cashew butter, maca powder, protein powder, and then I've added some pumpkin pie spice. Now, pumpkin pie spice is a blend of ginger, nutmeg, cinnamon, and cloves. And to me, it reminds me of winter and autumn and cold weather. I think it adds a delicious flavor to this smoothie that just turns into something really, really creamy and delicious. Then what I did was I placed the leafy greens on top. They are the last ingredient that I put on top here. Again, because we're going to create this lovely vortex with all of this liquid here in the bottom. It's going to pull those leafy greens down into the blades, and you're going to get this awesome green smoothie that's really smooth and frothy. I've also added my water to this blender. The water, of course, just trickles down right into the bottom of the blender, and it's going to help create that amazing vortex that we're looking for. The key here is always to remember to put the lid on. All it takes is to forget doing this once to then never forget it again. And trust me, I've forgotten, and it painted the whole kitchen and me a lovely shade of green. So we're going to secure this lid on really tight. We're going to start the speed off low, and then what we're going to do is we're going to slowly increase the speed, which is going to, again, be sure that everything is catching in the blades, and it's going to pull everything down in there. As we turn up the speed, the blades will turn faster and everything will liquefy. And then before I turn things off, again, I turn the speed back down to low. On your blender, you may have a presetting that you can push that's specifically meant for blending things into a liquid, pureeing things into a liquid, and so you'll use that presetting. So let's start. all blended up. Let's remove the lid. Now, my next tip. It may seem quite obvious, but a lot of us avoid this. I love to drink my smoothies out of a pretty glass. So I've got a couple different glasses here. You could use a wine glass, a martini glass. Something like this makes drinking a green smoothie pretty special. So I'm going to use this lovely stemless wine glass, and I'm going to fill my smoothie up. Then what I like to do is I like to garnish my smoothie. So I'm going to just do a little pinch of pumpkin pie spice on the top. It's a nice contrasting color from this green. And I'm going to add just a little pinch of shredded unsweetened coconut and a few raw cacao nibs. Now, to me, this elevates the green smoothie to something really special and fun to drink. And adding a little bit of shredded coconut or some cacao nibs is a great way to add a little texture, but also add some really, really healthy fat and a great superfood in the cacao nib. So these are my tips for how to make a really healthy, amazing green smoothie every time. Now I'm going to add one bonus tip here and let you know that if ever you're making a green smoothie and it tastes bitter or the flavor is off in some way, likely you need to add something sweet to your smoothie to balance out the flavors. Leafy greens can be quite bitter, so by adding a sweet element, you'll often remedy the situation pretty quickly. So you can always add a little bit extra fruit. You can add extra apple or extra banana, sometimes adding extra pineapple, if that's one of the ingredients, that will add sweetness. Now, if you don't want to add extra fruit or you don't have extra fruit, I will often add a medjool date. You just simply peel the date in half like this and remove the pit from the inside. You want to discard the pit, and then you can drop this date right into the blender and it will puree it into yummy, yummy sweetness. If you're trying to watch your sugars, you could always use stevia, which is what I usually use. I'm a big fan of the Sweet Leaf brand, and I use the vanilla cream flavor almost always because it's just delicious. And stevia goes a long way, so I'll start with just 2 or 3 drops and slowly add until I've hit that desired sweetness level. And that will often balance out any bitterness or green grassy taste that your smoothie might have. So I hope these tips have been helpful for you, and I hope you enjoy your green smoothies. See you.